Bryce Duskett back with you as we broadcast from the Growing Smarter Agronomy Insights event presented by the Nebraska Bayer Crop Science Agronomy team. For our final update, we're joined now by Josh Erwin. He's a technical agronomist with DEKALB Asgrow based in Laurel, Nebraska. Josh, it's good to sit down with you, and one of the topics of discussion continues to be tar spot, and that's for good reason. Tell me your assessment of it up in northeast Nebraska.
Yes, so tar spot is one of those fungal diseases that has been kind of creeping into Nebraska and in the eastern part of the state. One of the things that we've seen in the last couple of years is movement west with that disease, and I think it's something that all producers should be on the lookout for as we move forward in Nebraska.
One of the interesting things about tar spot is the fact it can overwinter. What kind of challenges does that present?
That can be some challenges. You know, there's other diseases that overwinter as well. I think what we've seen with this disease is it can overwinter in the residue, and as that inoculum builds up, it can be a little more detrimental in those fields moving forward. What are some of the ideal conditions, I should ask you, that make tar spot thrive? Well, it's a little bit of a finicky disease. It needs moisture, and it needs several hours of free moisture, and then moderate temperatures. One of the things that I think we need to be concerned with in Nebraska is our irrigation. So we have a lot of irrigation in Nebraska, and that introduces a fair amount of moisture. It can also reduce the temperature in the canopy to a more moderate temperature for that disease.
That said, in particular for those in Nebraska that do have heavy irrigation, what kind of recommendations do you give them heading into a growing season? Not necessarily knowing how severe it will be, but are there some standard things you suggest?
Yep. So I think the key thing is the scouting and looking, and I think the key leaf that we need to keep free of disease is the ear leaf and above. So as we're getting closer to that tassel time frame, it's really getting out in your fields and scouting, taking a look at how that disease is progressing. Fortunately, fungicides work very well against tar spot, but it becomes more of a timing thing with that. And I will mention that, effective modes, multiple modes of action are extremely important with our fungicides to control tar spot.
Here are different ways that a producer can apply fungicide in this day and age. Any particular ones to stand out as more effective as compared to another?
Actually, we've done a lot of testing on different application methods, and I think that the critical thing is, making sure that we're getting the right coverage out there, whether that be through an airplane or a helicopter or even pivot applications. With pivots, there's a lot of different nozzle types and things like that, and washing it off the leaves. So we want to make sure that we're using low amounts of water as possible to get those applications out.
That's the voice of Josh Erwin. He's a technical agronomist with DEKALB Asgrow based in northeast Nebraska. As we broadcast for a final time today from the Growing Smarter Agronomy Insights event. This one in Lincoln. 2 more to go, though. On Wednesday, they'll be in West Point and a final presentation in Gothenburg. On the Rural Radio Network, I'm Bryce Duskett reporting.